Rohit, it is your dog.
Yeah. I've done the needful.
Right, Cherian, if you're ready, just give me a signal. We can start.
Yeah, we are live. You can go ahead.
All right. A very warm good evening to each and every one of you who have logged in onto the Zoom, and now we also are going live on our YouTube channel. This is the second of the IPS Kerala State JIP, the Journal of Implantology and Prosthetic Dentistry web talk series. And let me welcome our President IPS Kerala State, Dr. Rohit Raghavan, our Secretary IPS, National IPS, Dr. Jangala Hari is also here. So we're very happy to have him here with us. Let me also place on record my greatest of appreciation and welcome to my very good friend, past President IPS and past editor, JIPS, Dr. Ravindra Savli, who is the speaker for today. As a prelude to this program, may I now adorn our President, Dr. Rohit Raghavan, with his presidential collar. May I now call upon President Dr. Rohit Raghavan to deliver the presidential address as well as a welcome. Over to you, Dr. Rohit.
Thank you, Dr. Rupesh. A very warm good evening to one and all present. At the onset of this momentous occasion, we are gathered for the webinar hosted by the pride of our Kerala State Chapter, the Journal of Prosthetic and Implant Dentistry. I would like to welcome the eminent speaker for the evening, our one and only ever dynamic, charismatic, past president of the Indian Prosthodontic Society, past editor of the Journal of the Indian Prosthodontic Society, Dr. Ravindra Savadi, who in spite of his busy schedule, have consented to be the speaker for the day. Thank you, Doctor, and a very warm welcome to you.
My pleasure. Thank you for the kind words.
Thank you so much, sir. I would also like to welcome our National Secretary, Dr. Jangala Hari, our own dynamic State Secretary, Dr. Rupesh, our President-elect, Dr. Cherian, immediate past President, Dr. Vinod Krishnan, Treasurer, Dr. Tony, Editor, Dr. Prashant, all Executive Council members present and past, and all life members and postgraduate students. I'm sure today's webinar will be an eye-opener to all of us present and will enlighten us in the topic, Pico versus Spider, a literature strategy. Thank you. Hope we'll have a very informative session. Jai Hind, Jai IPS.
Thank you.
Over to you, Dr. Rupesh.
Thank you, Rohit. Thank you for those very warm words of welcome. I'm sure there are plenty of people who have logged in from far and wide onto the YouTube channel also, which is probably not visible for all of us here. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go on to our main event, I'm sure all of you, especially the student community who's listening to us, will remember this very unique name, Rebase. Rebase is the exam-oriented training program of the IPS Kerala State Branch, which has progressed over the period of last so many years and has become a household name for the student community in this part of the country. And it gives me great pleasure to inform all the students who have logged in, be it the first year to the final year, to inform you that the IPS Kerala State is launching its Rebase 2022, and which will be hosted by the Royal Dental College and Hospital from Kerala. Dr. Rohit Raghavan is the organizing chair for this particular event. So at this juncture, may I request our guests who have logged in, who are with us today, Dr. Jangala Hari, the Honorary Secretary of IPS Head Office, as well as our speaker, Dr. Ravi Savdi. I request both of them to together launch the first call brochure in the presence of our President and the organizing chairperson of Rebase 2022 and all our dignitaries who have gathered here. May I request Dr. Jangala Hari, along with Dr. Ravi Savdi, to kindly release this first call brochure, after which I request Dr. Hari to say a few words. Dr. Cherian. Hari, when you're ready.
Yes. Please launch.
Yeah. Very nice.
Rebase 2022.
Requested Dr. Hari to say a few words on this occasion.
Very good evening, respected President Sir and Secretary, all the office bearers. So, Rohit Sir, Rupesh Sir, Karian Sir, Manju Madam, and my senior and one of my inspirational friend and teacher kind of a person, Dr. Vinod Krishnan Sir. So, one and all, and especially I want to thank Prashant, who is a very silent hard worker of the journal. So it is one of the only state branch who is doing very actively of the journal, who started and inspired other state branches to do much more and think about doing a state journals. Prashant, on behalf of this, I'll keep on a record. Congratulations and best wishes of entire editorial board team of Kerala State Branch who are bringing a regular intervals of the journal.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And the template when I saw for this program, Pico versus Spider, it is very unique and catchy. As Rupesh sir as usually do it, everything is unique and catchy. It makes a buzz like that only. So Ravi sir, in this picture, it is really what to say. It is you are flying with your scanner with this only, sir. So it is looking quite good and always forward to listening, because this topic, this picture and is all suitable to the app for this day. So nothing more than this I can say on this. So my best wishes to everyone, and always bringing a new program, and which is inspiration to other branches also, and keep on working hard to regular intervals, bringing these programs and make useful for everyone. So thank you very much, entire team of IPS Kerala State Branch for doing these unique programs and more informative. So I think with this, we'll proceed to the program. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Dr. Hari. So the rebase program is also launched. So the flyers and more information about that will be percolated and circulated in the coming few days. Friends, we now move on to the what all of you are waiting for. Especially, I'm sure the student community would be looking forward to listening to this particular topic, which probably is of much interest and much need for them. And let me now hand over the proceedings to the Mercurial editor of IPS Kerala State Branch, Dr. Prashant Vishwabharan, who will take over the proceedings from now. Over to you, Dr. Prashant.
Thank you, Dr. Rupesh. Before proceeding to the function, let me say a few words. Welcome to this web talk hosted by the Journal of Prosthetic and Implant Industry, the official publication of IPS Kerala State Branch. JPID was released by Dr. V. Rangarajan, Secretary cum Treasurer of IPS in September 2017. We became the first regional branch journal with ISSN, and incidentally, today is its 3rd anniversary. 2022 became a breakthrough year in our history. We got into Indian Citation Index and become a member of Crossref. Articles published in JPID hereafter will get DOI. Again, the first regional journal to do that. Dr. Suresh Nair, President-elect of British Society of Prosthodontics, and Dr. Prashanthi Ichembatti, HOD Prosthodontics, Manipal University, Malaysia, has joined us as international editors last week. JPID is in the foremost of promoting academics as well. We started to host web talk series periodically for the benefit of our fellow professionals. This, in fact, is the second of that series. JPID started to host keynote lecture called Read, Review, Reflect, or RRR, during our state conferences. JPID has instituted Dr. George Paulos Memorial Award for the best scientific publication in our journal. Starting from simple case reports to observational and interventional studies, up to systematic reviews and meta-analysis, which occupy the highest slot in evidence pyramid, literature search forms the core element. We identify a research gap only if we follow the literature. When I thought whom to approach for this topic, only one name came to my mind. It is not because he is known to me for years. It is not because he is a friend, inspiration, and motivation for me, but it's because he is the right person to do that. Introducing Dr. Ravindra Savadi to a prosthodontic community is like introducing Amitabh Bachchan during a Bollywood Film Award night. So instead of introducing, let me present him on behalf of JPID and IPS Kerala. He completed his BDS in 1990 from VS Dental College and MDS in 1994 from GDC Bangalore. Currently, he is a PhD guide in Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences. He is a past professor and head of Department of Prosthodontics, Oxford Dental College. During his teaching career of 20 years, he has published 27 famous articles in various national and international journals. Now he is on a sabbatical from formal teaching to focus on his practice in Bangalore. As we all know, he was a president of Indian Prosthodontic Society, 18 to 19, past editor-in-chief of the prestigious Journal of Indian Prosthodontic Society, JIPS. He is the founder secretary of Indian Board of Prosthodontics, past president IDA Karnataka State Branch and IDA Bangalore. Currently, he is honorary secretary of IDA Karnataka State Charitable Trust. Most importantly, he in fact is the guest editor of our journal as well. Before we start, please note few important things. Those who are watching as in YouTube and FB Live, please comment your names. It is needed for certificate purposes. If you have any queries, please post them in the comment box or chat box. The resource person will choose best queries and we will give certificates for those who ask such questions. You can revisit this lecture in our YouTube channel. It will be there always. So it's time, dear Ravi sir, the platform is all yours. Sir, please.
Thank you for the kind words, Prashant. Kerala branch has always been very kind to me. Apart from, of course, all other prosthodontists all over the country. So, Rupesh, I like the topic Pico versus Spider. I don't know if you like the name or if you like the topic. And he insisted that I speak on that particular topic itself. And he said there is going to be a large majority of them are going to be students itself. So that is a kind of a next level of topic. So I thought, let me bring you up first about what the Pico is and what is the literature search and what needs to be done in literature search, and then get on to the next level. So I am going to speak a little bit more. The slides are there, right? You're able to see the slides?
Yes, Ravi. Yes, Ravi.
Okay, so I'll continue. So I'm going to speak a little bit about where you're going to get your article, how you're going to get your article, identify what is the good article, identify the wrong articles, and various other university profiles. So this is going to be your learning objectives to increase the skills in conducting an efficient computerized search using scientific search engines and library to answer a specific clinical question. So it is important for anything to happen that you need to have your focus. You need to be disciplined and you have to get more information in an evidence-based way. So focus is of primary importance. And Rupesh came up with this photograph. And so of course, the intention behind his photograph was saying that you're going to be searching the web. So I am kind of a webmaster. So I've been made as a Spider-Man. And yeah, that's fine. That's perfectly all right. So when he's made me the Spider-Man, I just thought, let me add a couple of more thoughts, which I have. This is a scene. I'm sure all the youngsters will know where it is from if you watch Spider-Man movies. Now, at the end of this particular conversation, I want you to just observe the face of the Spider-Man.
So you listen to me. You have a gift. You have power. And with great power, there must also come great responsibility.
See his face now. Now, great power, she says, comes great responsibility. So he is wondering, where is the great power going to come from for him to be responsible? And how is that concerned with what I am going to speak on right now? So next, coming to the next part, I'm sure some of you know about where this scene is. This is from the Game of Thrones.
Please often forget a simple truth. I found Which truth is that?
Knowledge is power.
So power comes from knowledge. And where are you going to get your knowledge from? You're going to get your knowledge from various ways. There are many viable search engines which are there. There are going to be books. There are going to be journal articles. And then there are going to be lectures or scientific papers like this that you would hear. And then your dissertation topics that you're going to do. And you also are going to do the web search engines. So not only me, everybody is going to be a Spider-Man. So let us get on to the online literature search. What are all the pages that you can look for and what is going to be further you're going to look at. So there are numerous important advantages of online access to literature databases. It is available at any time and any place in the world. 2, easy handling due to the user-friendly interface of the World Wide Web. Capability of linking directly to private databases. So these are some of the uses of or advantages of an online search. Now, for general purpose searching, Googling will definitely help you to quite some huge degree. And then you still have to make sure that you have found the valid information. You should not get misled by the information that is being provided to you by Google. So some of the 15 scholarly search engines proposed online are the Google Scholar, Google Books, Microsoft Academic, Worldwide Science, Science.gov, Wolfram Alpha, RefSeek, Educational Resources Information Center, Virtual Learning Resources Center, iSeek, and then subsequently ResearchGate. Then there is the base, the Bielefeld Academic Search Engine, Infotopia, PubMed Central, and the LexisWeb. So these are some of the search engines, reputed search engines worldwide, which you can make use of. So through these search engines, you will find the home pages of many learned society pages also and lectures from university courses. And also you have the encyclopedia like Wikipedia. But remember that all these things are only put across by one person. Whatever article that now I am speaking and you are all listening, and then there are the seniors who are here. Prashant is there, Rupesh, all the seniors are there. So they can dispute if I'm saying something wrong. So in a Wikipedia, when you write, or if somebody writes a textbook, it is just they're putting forth their opinion. There is no peer review happening. So a peer review must happen. So criteria of assessment of the quality of healthcare information on the internet. Before I get into the criteria, so I just want you to know, now I'm sure many of you would have received texts like this. WhatsApp is a great format for receiving all rubbish text. This year, December has 5 Saturdays, 5 Sundays, 5 Mondays, and this happens only once in 824 years. So you are blessed to share it around and all this. But then if you look into it, the month of December this year will have, if it has 5 Saturdays, 5 Sundays and 5 Mondays, this pattern for a month only happens every damn time a 31-day month ends on a Monday. So every time there is a 31-day, some of the days of the week is going to repeat 5 times. 3 days of the week is going to repeat 5 times in that month, if not Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So you have to just go one step further and think about whether the information is correct or not. Don't just accept the information as it is. And then all of you will remember these photographs. There is this lady who was the past president of, daughter of the past president of the United States. And she was here for a holiday. And this was one of the pictures shared. And then they even had Manoj Bajpayee standing behind and lusting at her. But the actual photograph is very simple. She's just sitting there. So it is very easy to doctor information. And you have to accept what information is there. So in the search of this, the article for searching, for which you're searching is not found. The reporter of the article is not found. And oops, the agency itself is not found. So how to identify fake news? So 1 second, I'll just move this toolbar out.
is clear, Ravi, on the screen.
Sorry?
The screen is clear.
No, for me, it is blocking my view.
Okay, because here it's all clear.
It's blocking my first part of the view. Okay.
So you can drag it down. So
Anyway, so I tried it, but it is still blocking. So consider the source and then click away from the story to investigate the site, its mission, and its contact info. And then you have to read beyond. So go one step beyond. Headlines can be outrageous in an effort to get clicks. And what's the whole story? And then you have to figure out if it is a joke. If it is too outlandish, it might be a satire. Search the site and the author to be sure. And then you check the date. It can be a 10-year-old news which has just suddenly been shared once again. After that, or one of this one, check who has been giving you the publication, who has been sending it to you, and then what are the sources that are going to support it. And you have to ask an expert and check your biases. So these are the criteria which you will go to find out if an article is fake or it is original. So the basic criteria for assessing the quality of healthcare information on the net is the attributes and affiliations of the author. So if the author is affiliated to any big company, if he is affiliated to Colgate, he's going to say Colgate is the best toothpaste that is there. Or if he's affiliated to a particular implant company, then he's going to say use this implant, this is the best. So the attributes and the affiliations of the authors. The disclosure of the funding sources, again, the same thing. If he is getting funded by any company, then he's going to talk in favor of that company. Whether the material has been updated or it's an old material, old information. Information should be at least maybe 2 to 3 years, if not 5 years old. It should not be more than 5 years old. You don't want to look into something which is done in 2000 and say that it is still valid in 2022. You have to get the latest article. Now, for instance, for a lot of time, PRF and PRP was like the Bible for implant placement. Now, it is not of much relevance, though it is used, but then there are certain usage is only under certain conditions. So if you look into an article, say in 2010, there was a lot of material on PRFs and PRPs. But if you look at a recent article, then you will realize that the usage is very limited. Then statements, or even better, linked citations leading to supporting evidence. So if I am going to talk about this, and Rupesh liked it, and he wants me to speak about the same thing in Kerala branch, that means he has given a citation, a promotion for the particular lecture. The same thing if I publish an article and you see that article and refer to that article which I have published, that is, you are giving a citation to my article, the more number of citations my article carries, the more weight is there for the article. Then endorsement by respected individuals or organizations, same thing like what I said. And of course, always use your common sense with your own experience and your expertise. So what are the reliable sites that you can make use of for surfing for literature and material like this? Those produced by academic centers, including university and hospital sites, government-sponsored site, professional organization sites, and sites of several medical search engines. So basically, these sites don't have any personal vested interest in promoting any particular place, though again, you have to be a little bit careful about that. So academic centers and government-sponsored sites are the ideal ones. Professional organization sites, I'll come to it, we'll discuss about that. And also this is a professional site of a university. So just there are hundreds of universities all around the world. This is something which I just came across and I'm sharing this with you. So like this, you can have plenty of them. Even our Rajiv Gandhi University also has their own website. So government-sponsored site, the best known is the PubMed or the Medline. And there is the National Institute of Health, National Library of Medicine database. So this is one of the pioneers of storing databases. And it is the desire of every journal editor to be indexed in PubMed. And then this is a private organization site. So, or a professional organization site. Then we have the Science Direct, and you also have Wiley Blackwell, or an online library. So these are again publishing houses. So if you publish your article in Wiley or in the Science Direct, or it can be Springer, one of these journals, they have their own website. So they are all peer-reviewed articles and journals. And if they are peer-reviewed, that means you can give some amount of leverage to the article that is published by these professional organization sites. There are other excellent medical search engines which have with remarkable search and retrieval capabilities for relevant healthcare information. So, Directory of Open Access Journals, Open Science Directory, Free Medical Journals, openmd.com, TRIP database. So, a few words on National Library of Medicine .nih, that is National Institute of Health.gov. So this is the Medline website which you go to. And when you click on this, you come across into this any particular page. So they keep on changing these pages periodically. It is what is there today is not going to be. This is COVID-19 that they're continuing. This I picked it up about 6 months back for another lecture. So I didn't change it for this particular lecture. So once you go there inside there, you get a PubMed scroll on this part. Now, and then you click on this part here, or you can search in PubMed also. I'll come to what PubMed is. So PubMed is a larger part of the larger NCBI system known as the ONTRACE. That is the National Center for Biotechnology Information at the National Library of Medicine. So PubMed has over 24 million citations from Medline, which comprises the largest part of PubMed. So publishers participating in PubMed electronically submit the citations like what you do for JIPS or the JPID at the time of publication. And then the publisher has a website that offers full text of its journals. So PubMed provides a link to that site, and PubMed is going to charge you for accessing that particular site. So PubMed is not free per article. Your university or institution can have a deal with them, and they can purchase the web password and hand it over to you. Or if you're going to buy per article, it is going to be a little bit expensive, $20 to $30 it's going to cost you. So if you want a free access, then there is a one step below, which is the PubMed Central. PubMed Central is going to give the full article. PubMed is only going to give you the abstracts. So most of the time, abstract is good enough for the author or for the student, unless you are going to do a further research on that, in which case you have to, the abstract will give you the literature details. So you'll have to search around for it, and you can access that. The bibliography can be accessed. So PubMed Central will give you a free access. It will give you the full access for the full article. And a large section of open access papers in health science can be searched in PubMed Central, which is a part of PubMed. To get to PubMed Central, you have to choose PubMed Central on the right-hand column of the PubMed page, home page. So here you press on this area, you get all these scroll downs will be there. You can look at PMC. So once you get into PMC, you will get a further, you will get an advanced search there. You can look into that advanced search. Before I come into the advanced search, I just want to flash back to 2019 May, I think, when the IPS Con 19 was held at Kottayam. Kottayam, right, Rupesh?
Correct.
Kottayam. And during my term as the president, we have Matai sir there, and all the seniors. And one thing that I must appreciate is Kerala. In Kerala, all the seniors join all the programs very happily. So that is very happy to note that. And the enthusiasm is the same amongst everybody. Really appreciate their efforts. So Rohit and Vinod. And then the festivities later on at the Kottayam Kumarakom Lake, Harsha sir, Matai sir. So thank you for that. So when you go on the next part, you start to structure a PubMed comprehensive search using a Pico question. For this can be done with PubMed also. It can be done with PubMed Central also. So what is a Pico question? So now this is a part of my the topic name. I want to elaborate more on this, and then I will come to the spider again. So PICO is a patient population problem, and P stands for patient population problem. I stands for intervention and or indication. C is the comparison, and O is the outcome. So basically, you dissect the question into its component parts and restructure it so it is easy to find the answers as an essential first step in evidence-based medicine. And it should be tried to include all the 4 components of PICO in defining a problem. So, for example, P, a young patient, partially edentulous, diabetic, intervention that you want to do is an implant, and then comparison, you want to do a fixed partial denture. Your outcome, you want better mastication or aesthetics. So spider is a sample, S stands for sample, P is phenomenon of interest, D is design, E evaluation, R research. And it is adopted to define key elements of the review question and as a means to inform and standardize the search strategy. So after structuring a specific clinical question, the next step in the evidence-based process is finding the evidence through conducting an online search of the scientific understanding or the scientific literature. So there you have a MESH, that is a medical subject headings. It is a controlled vocabulary thesaurus or indexing language, which allows consistency in the key terms assigned to indexing articles from 2,500 of the world's leading biomedical journals. So when you get into MESH, you can also put in the words that is there directly and put them. And for understanding the advanced search feature, you have what is called as a Boolean operator. And then there is a search history, the limits features, and the clinical queries. So this is a plane of a cockpit of a 380-800, and the bigger the equipment, but still the human being only has to use it. So it might look complicated, but once they start flying, I'm sure it should be basically a pretty simple process for them. So what is Boolean operators? Excuse me. Boolean is named after George Boole, who actually died in 1864 at the age of 55. 1864, I'm not missing out the name, 1864. And today in 2022, we are still remembering him and calling him as Boolean. So he made a simple approach, and he called it as the and or not. Recording has stopped, Rupesh. Shall I continue?
Continue. Dr. Cherian? Anyway, we are live on YouTube. So
okay. So there is when you go in for advanced search builder, you have a AND, and then you have a NOT and a OR in the side. So this is the Boolean operator, AND, OR, and NOT, and all of them have to be capitalized. You cannot use them in shorter or rather in the small letters. So Boolean logic refers to relationship among search items. Boolean operators limit the results of a search by letting the user combine search terms or concepts. So AND, NOT, OR, they must be capitalized when using them on PubMed. So that option is already there. So about the AND operator, it is used to retrieve results that contain all of the search terms in a citation, like the Venn diagram, wherein the search that you're looking at should be there in both A and B. So for example, titanium in cast partial dentures and fixed partial dentures. So you do not use get a titanium which is exclusively used only for cast partial dentures or exclusively only for fixed partial dentures. It is titanium used for both cast partial dentures and fixed partial dentures. So you are going to constrict your search when you're going to use the AND operator. When you use an OR operator, then you're going to combine both of them, either titanium used in cast partial dentures or in fixed partial dentures. So it is going to be a vaster, more vast search, a bigger search. And then if you use the NOT operator, then you tend to eliminate out a few of them. You can say titanium used in cast partial dentures and not in fixed partial denture. So you're going to eliminate out one major part of your search. So you have to be a little bit careful in using the NOT operator. So search history feature is another feature of the advanced search and allows you to view all of the search strategies and results that you have run. So it is fairly simple. You have to do a few times, and then it is actually very simple and it's not so difficult. First, you have to know about it, of course, which we are telling you now. And once we tell you, once you start doing it, it's pretty simple to go about doing it. It also allows you to combine the previous search queries using the Boolean operators with new search queries. So for example, I was talking about plasma-rich fibrin. So I have not put any filters. I sort it out. So search results, I come up to 944 items. It is physically not possible for anybody to search 944 items. You have to keep doing that for 3 years. You cannot do anything else. So we put a filter, put it as 5 years, and sort it out as most recent, 379 items. So I'm trying to get more focused into it. More filters are being done. And then I put in plasma-rich fibrin in dental implants. So I get 32 articles. 32 is a much easier number to eliminate. So further research or further usage of words is going to further narrow it down, but still 32 is quite an easy number to negotiate. So I have checked these articles. First one is the 944, 379, and 32. So it is going to be number 1, number 2, number 3. So here with the AND field, you can put number 1 and number 2, or number 2 and number 3. This is, you have got the numbers here. So this way you can combine your searches. You can also pick up varied topics and then join them and combine the search. So that is the advantages of the advanced search. The limits feature is helpful in filtering citations, so they can be sorted by the level of evidence. The limits feature can be accessed to the Pubmed homepage or above the search box on top of the advanced search page. Clinical queries is a very good feature for the busy clinician and also for a student. If he's going to do a crown cutting or if he's going to do an altered cast technique, you can just go to Pubmed clinical queries found on the homepage under the Pubmed tools, and then enter your particular search that or procedure that you're going to carry out. Or if you want to do a full mouth rehab, you can just enter that and you get the material on that. So it provides specialized searches using evidence-based filters to retrieve the articles. The built-in algorithms streamline the process of searching for clinically relevant articles. So during post-graduation, after the person has finished BDS, then he feels that he's all trim and proper, looking nice, smart, and he's achieved a lot in life. Of course, BDS is not an easy thing, but then once you get trapped into an MDS system, then you become like this. Or so the student thinks, which is not the fact. You're just being refined and polished and going to the next level. I have listed out a protocol which the clinician, student, researcher can follow, and you can look out and get your articles that you want. So define your problem, create a search strategy, choose bibliographic databases, search, select suitable references from those that have been retrieved, assess whether the search was satisfactory, redesign the search strategy and or choose other databases or search tools. So defining your problem, I'll just take this up one by one. Defining your problem, the definition of the problem about which you want to find information, that is formulation of a Pico question or a spider, depending upon what you want. And then create a search strategy. So put across your points of views, what you want to do, write it down. Don't keep it in the mind. Keeping it in the mind is not going to keep it very clear. So you write it down. When using not, the operator should be careful and use only in situations in which you're completely certain about what to exclude. And then there is a sensitivity and a specificity. So sensitivity, you will achieve a bigger coverage of the literature with a broader search, but the cost is the higher number of retrieved references that you have to access or assess for inclusion. Like I told you, that 944 questions, 944 articles. And then higher specificity will have a very narrow definition of the problem in question and will give you a high specificity. More or less all of the retrieved references will be relevant, but the coverage of the problem might not be optimal. So the tip for you is, for updating, a more specific search might be preferred. For research purpose, you might need several broader searches. And the best way is to try strike a balance between the sensitivity and specificity. Continuing with the protocol for the youngsters, bibliography. So what exactly is the bibliography? It is a list of the books referred to in a scholarly work, usually printed as an appendix at the end of the chapter, or at the end of the book, or at the end of the article. A list of the books of a specific author or publisher or on a specific subject. The history or systematic description of books, their authorship, printing, publication, editions, etc. So this is going to be there. All of you would have seen the references at the end of the chapter, or at the end of the article, or at the end of. So this is what you're going to get. So bibliographic databases, choose the right databases or other search tools. Bibliographic databases cover only a certain chosen number of journals, and the selection varies from database to database. That is why you have to consider which databases are the ones to search for your particular subjects. So the subjects might look alike, but they are going to be different. We are having Katrina Kaif and the other lady, I forget her name, and then Aishwarya Rai and a lookalike, I again forget her name. Then you have the reference handling systems. So using these products, authors can save countless hours of typing and interpreting style requirements of scholarly publications by simply selecting the publication by name and generating a perfectly formatted document. So these are all paid sites: Reference Manager, EndNote, ProCite. These are some of the reference handling systems. These are paid sites. And then you have a Mendeley.com. This is a free site. So you can also get a few articles. Since you're not, you might not be doing regularly, they allow you to get referencing systems on Mendeley.com. So again, knowledge is there. Whatever that is being created, knowledge is of course power. And with great power comes great responsibility, going back to the theme of the poster that was done. So after all this you have put, you have going to search for an article. Your search results are dependent upon how you approach a database in the form it is made available to you. So advantage in searching one term at a time, you are able to follow if your choice of search terms covers satisfactory. If you have only 2 hits in one of your search terms and you know that the area is well described, you know you have to find another word for your term. So like I said, search history, you can go to combine the terms with AND or OR as appropriate, where each searched item will be represented with number 1 or number 2. So your further search will look something like this. You have a number 1 or number 3 and or number 4 and number 5. It can be any permutation combination that you can juggle around. So this will take some time for you to understand, but it's quite fairly simple. So you select suitable references from those that have been, and then you have to find the right balance between sensitivity and specificity. So the last step is go through the reference list of your chosen references to determine if there are other references that you have missed, because they have not been included in the database searched, or because your search has not been able to catch them. So reference lists are a good source for covering important older literature. Coming to the next part of the protocol, assess whether the search was satisfactory. So how do you know that the search is satisfactory? If it is a hot topic, a lot of studies should appear in that area. However, if the subject is brand new, there might not be much abstracts. So you have to again assess it in using your prudence. And if you know about 1 or 2 important studies, these ought to appear as a part of your retrieved references. If they do not, then your search strategies are not good enough. You have to reword your search and do it once again. So finally, if you feel that your search is not given you the required amount of documents, then you redesign the search strategy and or choose other databases or search tools. So this is, to summarize, learn to define your questions in a meaningful way. So it is all the use of words. Get to give grips with the ins and outs of the literature searching and update yourself with the new information. So this is what actually happens. Teacher at the beginning of the school year or the post-graduation, and then the teacher at the end of the year guiding all the thesis and year on year. So this is the fact. The student is going to be fine. Nothing is going to happen to the student. So 7 reliable search engines for health writing: PubMed, Ovid, Web of Science, Science Direct, Scopus, and Cochrane Library. So this is other few things that you can look into. And of course, the Google Scholar. So any questions, anything that you want to ask?
Ravi, most of them are on YouTube, so they'll not be able to ask. So maybe we'll ask it together towards the end.
Okay.
We'll collect the questions and then we'll ask it.
Okay. So I will get to the next part of my topic.
If anyone in this Zoom, if you want to ask a voice some questions, you can raise your hand and come forward at this point.
I will stop screen share and I will again come back with the next part. Okay. I'll close this.
Sir, so far we have received 2 questions in YouTube.
Yeah. Ask
Can I?
Yeah. Go ahead.
If one have to do a research or a study on a particular topic or material, is it necessary to have obvious reference article? Question from Della.
Can you repeat the question?
If one have to do a research or study on a particular topic or material, is it necessary to have obvious reference article? The question is that is the reference article mandatory to do to start a research?
That will be required. Without a reference article, it is difficult to find out how the things are. So having a reference article, if not one, and getting articles is not difficult. So definitely a reference article will be required.
So there is one more question.
Yeah.
What do you mean by impact point? I think it is impact factor. I think like that.
I think you are a better person to answer that.
So we'll take up the query at the end, sir. Such generic queries.
Yeah. Let me just open the next part of the topic. See, basically impact factor is something which is an acknowledgement of the popularity of the journal, and impact, the number can be varied. So I think Prashant will be a better person because I'm not updated about the impact factor of JIPS as of now. So JPID, Prashant will be aware of it. I think
sir, we have not calculated the impact factor, sir. But actually, it is a number of citations from that particular journal appearing in 1 year, average number of citations, and
there is a number for that.
There is not, it's an average value of how many articles are, being cited in a year, average.
Yeah. Are you able to see this?
Yes, Ravi.
Okay. So shall I continue with this? I'll take another 15-20 minutes, a little bit of repetition. Repetition sometimes is good if you don't understand, because this is an abstract article, but then it's not like a clinical presentation. Needs some understanding. So anyways, I'm going to repeat it now. So coming to the core, I hope you are able to understand my build up so far. And the reason why I came up with this, because you will suddenly would not understand what a Pico is or what a spider is. So coming back to the search strategies, there is a general information searching and a specific information searching. So general information will include the background questions like who, what, when, where, why, when, how, and it is found in reference materials. So you can get them in reference materials. Specific information will be a foreground questions and patient care management, and these are found in research literature. So search strategies on the basis of all reviews, it is confidence in the literature search is vital to all search which are founded on the sound retrieval of initial search strategies. So you will have to be able to word your search in such a way that you're going to get your articles. So wording and basing it out is different. There are people who in their resume, they say, I am good at Google search. So I've got jobs like that because they're good at Google search. So similarly, it is up to the candidate, to the student, to be able to search and get good articles. And of course, everybody can do it. It may take us a little bit of time. It's not like a cricket match where the ball is bowled and you have to hit it. There's no timeline. You can take a couple of hours, discuss with your teachers, with your friends, and then search for the articles. So effective retrieval terms rely on clarity in the title and abstract, although assignment of indexing terms depends on the indexer's interpretation of the full article. So research can be quantitative or it can be qualitative. You want a specific search or a sensitive search. If it is going to be sensitive, then you get a lot of quantity. If you have to be specific, then your quality is going to be lesser. So sample size is typically smaller in the qualitative search, with the data collected being richer and more detailed than the quantitative data. So again, ncbi.nlm.nih.gov, and then you have got the advanced search feature. So you scroll down to PMC. Then once in PMC, you can go there. And then depending on your information needs, you should aim at a search strategy that will give enough information for your purpose. You might achieve a better coverage of the literature with a broader search or a higher sensitivity, but the cost is the high number of retrieved references you have to access for inclusion. So you might be around the target. You will not be hitting the target. You might be around your target, but there is going to be more information that is going to be done. This is good for an initial study. Once the initial study is done, then you want something which is got higher specificity. So it is a specific narrow definition of the main problem in question, and which will give a high specificity, but the coverage of the problem might not be optimal. But then you are hitting your target more resourcefully with a high specificity. So all this Pico and all this is, and the spider is going to be for this itself, for a qualitative search or a quantitative search. For research purpose, you might need several broader searches. That is a quantitative search. For updating, a more specific search might be preferred, which is a qualitative search. So you have to decide whether you want a qualitative or quantitative, or you want to bring about a balance. In recent years, researchers have increasingly recognized that multiple potential methods exist for the synthesis of qualitative research. They need to select the chosen method judiciously. Current research tools include the Pico, the Picos, SPICE, Eclipse, and Context Intervention Mechanism Outcome, which is the CIMO, will also developed for management questions, although this might hold potential specifically within realist synthesis. So Pico, I've already discussed with you, patient population problem, and it spread from its early origins in epidemiology to become a fundamental tool in both evidence-based practice and systematic reviews. It enables researchers to define their quantitative research question and search terms, laying the pathway for a systematic search strategy. So acknowledged limitations of PICO for qualitative evidence synthesis include the fact that combining the two most commonly used components, namely the P for population and I for intervention, will more typically retrieve references to quantitative research. The comparison C, these are the disadvantages, is not typically part of a qualitative research question, so becomes irrelevant. Whereas both intervention and outcome might need to be manipulated to fit with the qualitative paradigm. Therefore, specification using Pico might become a subjective exercise when used for qualitative search questions, rather than the systematic search strategy tool intended when used for the quantitative search questions. So SPICE, the other type of search engine, is setting population, intervention, comparison, and evaluation search strategy, was developed in the context of evidence-based librarianship and subsequently promoted by the Joanna Briggs Institute. It's an Australian institute, something like Cochrane, for qualitative systematic reviews. It's a private institute. And then the Eclipse, there's expectation, client group, location, impact, professionals, service. Search strategy was introduced to handle health management topics. Neither SPICE nor Eclipse meets the full requirements of the qualitative research paradigm, having been developed for specific user groups, nor are they be suitable for use with more general qualitative research questions. So the frequently applied PICO tool provided a starting point for the design of an alternative tool for use with the qualitative and mixed methods research articles. The spider search strategy was designed following reflections on the difficulties of using Pico when searching for qualitative and mixed method research for metasynthesis. The sample size is typically smaller in qualitative research, with the data collected being richer and more detailed than the quantitative data. In contrast to those from epidemiological research, findings from qualitative research are not always intended to be generalized beyond the study population. Therefore, sample was preferable to population patient problem, which is a part of the Pico. So P was replaced with S, the sample size. Then an intervention exposure used in Pico is not always evident in qualitative research, where the aim is frequently to understand more about certain behaviors, decisions, and individual experiences. Therefore, phenomenon of interest was deemed more suitable for use with the qualitative research encompassing behaviors, experiences, and interventions. Because of the exploratory nature of qualitative research and the smaller sample sizes, comparison groups are frequently excluded. Instead, design was used in the spider tool because the design of a study, including any supporting theoretical framework, influences the robustness of the study and analysis. So the comparison was changed to the design. Qualitative research outcomes might be unobservable and subjective constructs. So the term evaluation was deemed to be more suitable than outcome used in PICO. Finally, the spider tool has the added advantage that it might be suitable for mixed methods and qualitative research. Search strategies made possible by the addition of the research type R. So this is the sample, phenomenon of interest, design, evaluation, and research type. These things will take some time again for you to understand, especially the youngsters. You have to be guided by your teachers who have understood what this is, and you have to make use of it, read it again and again for you to be able to get a more comprehensive understanding. So construction of the spider from Pico. P, the patient population problem, spider, yes, sample justification. Smaller groups of participants tend to be used in qualitative research than quantitative research. So this term was deemed more appropriate. Intervention exposure, that is the phenomenon of interest. Justification, qualitative research aims to understand the how and why of certain behaviors, decisions, and individual experiences. Therefore, an intervention exposure per se is not always evident in qualitative research questions. Comparison got converted to design. Justification, the theoretical framework used in qualitative research will determine the research method that is used. And inferential statistics, as inferential statistics are not used in qualitative research, details of the study design will help make the decisions about the robustness of the study and analysis. In addition, this might increase the detection of qualitative studies in the databases in which titles and abstracts are unstructured. O, outcome becomes evaluation. The justification, qualitative research has the same end result as quantitative research methods, that is outcome measures. These differ depending upon the research question and might contain more unobservable and subjective constructs when compared to a quantitative research. Example, attitudes and views and so forth. So evaluation was deemed more suitable. Then R, the research type. 3 research types could be searched for: the qualitative, quantitative, and mixed methods. So mixed methods are designed like this. So quantitative data collection and analysis, quantitative data collection and analysis, compare or interpretation. That is the convergent parallel design. And there is an explanatory sequential design, that is quantitative data collection analysis, follow up with qualitative data collection analysis, and then interpretation. And then exploratory sequential design, again, this is explanatory, this is convergent. Qualitative data collection and analysis builds to quantitative data collection and analysis and interpretation. So this is a mixed result, a basic mixed methods research design. So what you see on top, if you're going to search for an article, it's going to be a very different view from doing it another way. So that's where the mixed methods is going to come. So you can fly in, you can climb up, you will have to go around with a swimming gear, you'll have to put light, you have to have cameras, and you have various other means of finding out. So what is underneath can be a lot more, and it can be quite exciting to find out that. So in conclusion, Spider tool is a good basis for search strategy tool that can be used more efficiently with qualitative and mixed methods research questions in opposition to the PICO tool. And more work is needed to investigate the sensitivity of the Spider tool and to ensure that it does not eliminate articles because of poor indexing. We therefore must use the PICO for a fully comprehensive search. So you cannot replace the PICO at all. Spider is only for a qualitative kind of a search. Now, these are few references which I liked. I like this article by this Alison Cook, Debbie Smith, and Andrew Booth. So this is a 2012 article, and then this is a 2015 article, 2014. So I have not come across any more recent articles of the Spider, and Spider search is in fact quite good. So before I let you go off, I generally like to speak about this in all my topics with shloka. Karma nevadikaraste ma paleshu kadachana ma karma pala hetur bhurmate sangostva karmani, which basically means you have the right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. And you should never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities and never be attached to not doing your duty. You have to do your duty. Your duty can be as what you perceive it is, and you don't have any control over the results of your actions. So thank you, Rohit, President IPS Kerala. Thank you, Hari, if you're still around here, the Secretary of IPS Head Office. Thank you, Rupesh, for having me over. Thank you, Prashant, for considering me. And thank you, Vinod, and all the other. Thank you, Manju Madam, everybody who's around here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, can I say one comment, sir, one or two comments?
Of course.
Yeah, for qualitative and mixed methods, Spider search strategy is good. In Spider, it is sample, phenomenon of interest, design, evaluation, and research type. Am I right, sir?
Right.
Yes. And we need to check the sensitivity of Spider search strategy.
Spider is for specificity. Yes,
specificity.
It is
yes,
not
yes.
for sensitivity.
Yeah, specificity, because whether we are covering adequate number of articles, I mean, getting.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, there are a few questions actually, sir. A few more actually.
Yeah.
I would like to write a review article. Search on its have been going on since at least 20 years. However, major advances occurred in the past 5 years. How exactly to choose the time period of articles to be reviewed?
See, when you write a review of literature, the review of literature starts from the first article, and then you start writing it on the abstracts of the review. So it is going to be like a library dissertation that we are going to write. So every article can be illustrated, every relevant article which has made a difference. Some of these articles might not have made, like if you go into a review of, say, let's say something in complete dentures. So you will get something in 1930 onwards, 1940 onwards. So you don't have to go through all the articles that are there. And of course, today, complete dentures, there are no new articles on complete dentures. I think from 1980 onwards, everything is kind of, other than this BPS that came up, which this one, so there are no new articles. So my point basically is, when you write, do a systematic review, you have to get the complete list of articles, give them in your this one, literature review.
Ravi, can you stop a screen share so that they can see you well?
Yeah.
Ravi sir, one question. When I start doing a short study, I mean short research, how to make it more valid, a good study? Short study in the sense, I think maybe for promotion purpose, or maybe, I mean, I think it in that way. Otherwise, there is no short study and long study. I think so.
No, it might be for the paper presentations, Prashant.
Hi, Shyam.
Yes, maybe.
Hi, Shyam.
Yes, sir. Hi. I'm here only, sir.
Yeah. Now that I narrowed it down. See, promotional study, again, it depends upon the topic and how much people are attracted to the topic. So if you want to make something which is something attractable, then you have to take up a topic. You cannot take up something on PMMA and say that do a study and ask people to come and see that topic or share it around. So it has to be something which is going to be catchy and which will hold the attention of the people. But there are plenty of topics.
Sir, another question. Yeah. When we go for attempting a literature review, is it necessary to go only with article published in one search engine, or is it necessary to search multiple search engines?
No, you can definitely go through. See, any knowledge anywhere is good knowledge. Only thing is, you have to identify where you are getting that knowledge from and who is going to impart that knowledge. So it is not only one search. You can get it from any number of search engines.
Sir, what's that? Is meta-synthesis and meta-analysis the same or different?
Meta-synthesis and meta-analysis, if I start getting to it, I have to again explain it a little bit more. They are pretty different. They cannot be the same, this one. That will take a separate lecture. I don't think the scope of this lecture is there here. The topic is.
Okay, sir, I shall forward it, and I mean, if you give later, if you give some.
You can give.
Yeah. That's all what we have received so far. Shyam sir, any comments?
Can I just add to the previous question, or not this one, about the articles, the topics? There are plenty of topics which we can go look on. Only thing is, the writer should be having either a thorough academic inclination or thorough clinical inclination, or both. Having both would be excellent. So they have to do cases. They have to update themselves about the literature also. Only then they will come up with new thoughts. And the more you do such things, such cases, and more work, then the thoughts are going to be increasing. So that is going to be helpful. It can be a short review also. A review of literature can be short review also. It can maybe a larger part, which will be just a small, like going about with, what shall I say, a Morse taper, talking about a Morse taper. So that is a good topic to talk about. It's not a long topic, it's not a big one, but it is a short one and it can talk about it. So like that, there are a lot of things that can be done. Platform switching, screw size. So I'm just talking about implants, but even with regards to maxillofacial prosthodontics, maxillofacial. Now we went through that mucormycosis issue. So that also can be highlighted, retention of what was done.
Sir, another one. For writing a systematic review article, how many years of publication should we choose? Is there any rule for that?
A systematic review has to happen over a period of 2 years. The review by the person has to happen. It cannot, and there is no limit for writing, picking up articles. you start with the first. You can talk about the evolution of the particular science, particular field. There is no need to get bogged down by only one particular period. Just because something was done in 1950 doesn't mean that we cannot discount it off.
Yes.
We need to know our history, otherwise we will forget about it. Now, if you stop teaching base plate to our students, and then somebody will invent base plate after 30 years, and then they will say this is a new material. So it should not be forgotten. History, if forgotten, will be repeated.
Yes, sir. Sir, is there any scope for a narrative review these days, or only systematic reviews have got as scope? That's my question, actually.
I don't have an answer for that. I think systematic review would be the way. Narrative review of an offshoot of a problem should be okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Probably for publication, no, sir. For publication interest,
Yes.
systematic review, probably.
Yes. Yeah.
Correct. More authoritative, I think.
Yes, but Shyam sir, narrative reviews on certain topics really would be good, right? I mean,
Only by invited.
Invited.
Editors, yeah.
Yes,
It's
yes.
only through invitation. Yes.
In narrative review,
Is also like that. JIPS, we don't entertain narrative reviews until and unless the author is invited for this.
Invited. Okay. Right.
Also, Shyam, I feel a narrative review will be, interesting to read through.
Exactly. But that author is invited, sir. It's a guest.
Correct. No, so compared to a systematic review where it's all jargons and
Exactly.
narrative review will be more humane, and we can probably more connect to a narrative review.
Exactly.
Sir, is there any technique to get invited? That is the question.
The easiest way is you invite yourself.
Then you work on a particular topic, you become an expert in the topic, you will automatically get invitations.
Yes, definitely. Sir, is there any success mantra for writing systematic reviews in a time-bound manner? But actually, when we think about systematic review, it will take some time. Asking a PG student to finish a systematic review in 6 months or 8 months is too cruel. I mean, the concept itself says that 1.5 years may be necessary.
Asking the PG student to do any review itself, just think of our PG student, what all they're going through. They have to learn complete dentures. They have to learn removable partial, fixed partial. They have to learn the basics of implantology, maxillofacial prosthodontics. And then you want to squeeze in a systematic review also into it. That's inhuman.
Absolutely,
sir. So much of things on our PG students. The teacher can probably make the student do a part of that review, just to get the student to do it, to understand what a research is about. And I am not a teacher now. I hope I am talking in the right sense. But I feel that.
In fact, during Dr. Ravi's year as the president, we ran a competition, systematic review competition. JIPS.
No, that was during Akshay's year, last year when I was the.
That was rapid review. Last round was rapid review during Patel sir's year. During Patel sir's year, we ran a systematic review competition, and that kind of a time frame was not there. Like 1.5 years was not given to the participants. Dr. Prashant,
Okay. Yes.
But those participants had already gone into the review by the time this one was announced, competition was announced.
Not correct.
Because I was a judge of that systematic review competition, one of the judges. Padhu sir was the other judge. So they had already gone into the review, doing this. They have just participated in the this one competition.
So you need to have adequate number of people involved in a systematic review so that it can be completed in time. Yes,
it can be multi-centric also. It has to be multi-centric, not it can be. It should be multi-centric also. In 2-3 centers, or at least 4 centers.
I think, Dr. Ravi, you have also given a food for thought to the participants or audience who have listened to you. You have said there should be another detailed study onto the efficacy of spider versus Pico. In one of your slides, you just said there can be an intense study on the efficacy of spider versus Pico.
Yeah. If you will see that article, that's a very beautiful article. If you go into it by Alison Cook and et al., they have done some amazing work. And if I had time, I would have liked to do a little bit of study, but then my core thought process is somewhere else right now. So, but it is very interesting for me itself. I'm sure the teachers will like it. So you can see that on YouTube and pick up that article and read it.
Ravi, Prashant, I think Ravi also need to pick up the best question.
Yes. Which question? I mean, if you want, I shall WhatsApp you the questions. You can send the best question. I mean, or if you remember, you can tell which was the best question.
No, I don't remember. You can WhatsApp me the questions.
But if now or after the program?
If you can share it and paste it here, I can do it now also in the chat.
Yeah, I'll do now.
We can copy paste it in the chat section.
Yeah, I have all the questions with me in my WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Shyam, Ravi, Dr. Harsha Kumar sir also was here. I think sir, is he, Harshan sir, are you there? Harshan sir also was complimenting you and saying hello to you. Harsha Kumar sir, founder president of IPS, IPS Kerala, founder president.
Sir, thank you for the kind words. I can see that.
Sir, I think he is not seen. Should I ask him to come? I think.
Shall I just 1 second?
Yeah.
Shyam, you have any comments, Shyam?
No, sir, lectures are always like the Spider-Man series, sir. We always think that we are done with the genre, but again, a sequel comes, a bombastic one, and we are glued to it. So this is apt, sir. That spider, logo Rupesh sir had made for you. So always a sequel, they're all loaded. Thank you, sir, again.
Thank you for the kind words, Shyam.
And I think most of what the Ravi spoke, some would have gone slightly over the head for some of the students, but I think they should go back to the YouTube channel because the lecture is playing on and on for some more time, for a few months there. So all of you who probably have not understood a little bit, can go back and listen to Dr. Ravi's lecture. And if there is any personal queries you need to address to Dr. Ravi, you can contact Dr. Prashant. Dr. Prashant will forward Dr. Ravi's email ID, and probably they can communicate to Dr. Ravi directly.
Ravi sir, I have forwarded the questions in your WhatsApp.
Okay.
I think.
And let you know.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, to all who are probably listening to, we are planning to have this particular sequence at the end of all our IPS Kerala State Branch lectures. We are going to pick up one of the best questions that has been asked, and we will be sending you a commemorative certificate to the author of that particular question. So we'll ask the speaker himself to pick up the best question, which stumped him. That's the right word, is it, Shyam? Because India is playing West Indies today. So should we say the question which stumped the speaker?
What is the special gift I'm interested in?
It's a commemorative. We'll design a special certificate, and unless you decide to sponsor something, Shyam, unless you decide to your purse.
Spider-Man T-shirt.
Okay. Kerala State T-shirt.
Spider-Man cape, probably.
I think before we leave, Cherian, I think if we can now have all the students, who all are left behind and who are wearing our T-shirt, we can have a picture too.
Hopefully.
Our Kerala PGs, probably most of them will be having it.
Rupesh sir, after Devi sir save the select the best question.
Correct.
You can proceed with that certificate ceremony.
Sure. Yeah, Dr. Rohit, meanwhile, would you like to say anything about the rebase which is coming up, for which you are the chairperson? So, if you can give some glimpses or insights to the students who are listening to you. Please unmute, Rohit, unmute.
I'm sorry, yeah. I hope I'm audible now.
Yes.
Fine. This rebase is basically a 3-day program. The first 2 days we'll be having a post-noon session. That is starting from 4 o'clock and we have 2 lectures basically, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, and the third session, that is the third program, the third talk is going to be a demonstration, and it's definitely going to be an exam oriented program, so the participants can really.
Every day we will be having a session which is a demonstration based demonstration.
Yes, the first 2 days we'll be having, and on the third day, which is the closing day also, which is the last day, we won't be having a demonstration.
But we will have extensive lectures.
Extensive lectures. Yeah, extended lectures, which is important for the postgraduates for the examination. It's all totally exam oriented. So Friday, Saturday, the first 2 days will be post noon session, 4 to 6 lecture, that is 2 lectures and demonstration. And Sunday we'll be starting around 9:30.
What is our tentative date, Dr. Rohit? Tentative dates?
25, 26, 27.
Of March.
Of March. Yeah.
So I think it's time for. I think Savadi sir is ready with the result. I mean, selection of best question.
Yeah. So I will not say why I didn't take up the other 5 questions. So basically, overall, the other 5 I feel require a little bit more understanding. And I don't know if this particular question asker or person who's asked this question has an understanding, but at least the person has focused a little bit more on this. So is meta-synthesis and meta-analysis different? That would be my best question for today.
So it is Anjali Sharma. Adarsh, if you can chase her email ID, we can send her the certificate.
Yes, sir.
So congratulations, Anjali. Keep asking questions. Like I always say, there are no stupid questions. All of you should ask questions. Only then our thought process will move forward, and the things will get more interesting. So people do ask questions.
Yeah.
So now, as we draw to a close of this wonderful lecture, Dr. Ravi, let me, on behalf of the IPS Kerala State and all the participants who have had logged in, thank you for your time, and thank you for that explicitly, interesting presentation from your end. I'm sure it would have stimulated a lot of thought process, especially the first years and second years who are probably getting into this research mode. It would have benefited them quite a bit. So as a token of our love and appreciation, may I request our President, Dr. Rohit, and the CD Chairperson, Dr. K.P. Cherian, to felicitate you with this certificate in the presence of our editor, Dr. Prashant Bishop. We will send a hard copy of this certificate to you, Dr. Ravi.
Thank you.
We'll post it to you. Hard copy.
Thank you.
Dear Dr. Ravi Savadi, on behalf of the Indian Prosthodontic Society Kerala State Chapter and on my personal behalf, I feel proud and privileged to hand over this certificate as a full talk you have presented this evening. I'm sure not only the postgraduate, but also the faculties listening to it would have benefited. And definitely you are going to come again with us. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind words.
Kindly do accept this certificate.
I had a good time. Thank you. Thank you.
So Rohit is saying that you're going to come again. It looks like Rohit has some plans for the rebase also with you. So, or he's going to get you to his college. So thank you once again. May I call upon our CDE chairperson, Dr. K.P. Cherian, to formally propose a word of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Rupesh. Good evening. Firstly, I would like to thank God for having us flawlessly present this program for you today. I would especially like to thank our speaker for the day, Dr. Ravi Savadi, for leading us through the methods of literature search, and especially through Pico and Spider and more. Thank you, sir, for spending your valuable time with us today to enlighten us on this relevant topic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Special thanks to Dr. Jangla Hari, Secretary, Indian Prosthodontic Society, who has been gracious enough to take this time out and help us release the rebase flyer today. Thank you, sir. I would also like to thank all the members of the Indian Prosthodontic Society, Kerala State, the President, Dr. Rohit, the Secretary, Dr. Rupesh, the Editor, Dr. Prashant, and all the other EC members for their presence. I would also like to thank all the students who could join us today and hope that this was informative and will be useful for your research in the future. Thank you all and have a good day. Good evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Could
Thanks,
I request everybody to turn on your screens, please?
And get the emblem correct. Okay, the emblem should be visible.
One sec. Let me just change the view. Okay.
The chief architect is not here. Baiju is not here.
No, yes, he was there. He was there. He was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please turn on your screens. And if you are wearing your t-shirts, we need some screenshots. We've got only 3 rows. Ah, yes.
Good. In a comment I had put in towards the end that kindly wear your t-shirts. So probably it has not reached many people, so it doesn't matter. So
it's happening.
we probably ask them to send the individual pictures of them. But now we'll wait 1 more minute and then we'll click a picture. Okay. So let me thank all of you, for heeding to our request and wearing this t-shirt with pride.
We can call it a Zoom, sir.
So let me at this point and also thank Dr. Baiju for having taken up this initiative and getting this done. Okay, so if you are all ready,
yes.
Second screen, so we'll click I think this is good enough.
Yeah.
I think this. Now let's all. I can see one Arsenal fan there, proclaiming his allegiance to Arsenal. We probably are coming up, Neeraj. We are planning and we are coming up with some sports and cultural activity for the Prosto PGs. So just wait and see. Let's have some activities, fun activities also. Cultural and a sports day we can have for our IPS postgraduates. Okay, Sethu-Lakshmi, can you move back so that your t-shirt is visible? Sethu-Lakshmi.
Sethu-Lakshmi.
Okay, so if you are ready, others, can you click?
Yes, sir. Ready, sir.
Sandhya din vera. Tony, let's see the logo. Okay, Tony, and smile. If you have made good money, smile, Tony. Tony is a treasurer, so that's why I said money.
Thanks, sir.
Money, he'll smile.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, say cheese and let's get a nice picture of ourselves on this black and gold attire that we have. Okay. Yeah.
Ready? Yes, sir. Done.
You can all point your fingers at your logo. Okay, just hold it like this. Like that. Do that. Do that, all of you. Come on. Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Sir is
okay. So I know the lectures are all on continuously on the YouTube channel. So please do visit our YouTube channel and like all how this YouTube, people say, come on guys and let's subscribe and press the bell button and like it.
Yes.
And so, ask your friends also to subscribe, even from the other specialties. Tell them we have a YouTube channel. Ask them to subscribe to it, and ask them to like the channel so that it gets more popular and more meaningful. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye. See you.
Bye. See you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Yeah.